On April 19, 1989, in Central Park, New York, 28-year-old Tricia Melee went for a run just before 9 p.m. While jogging, she was knocked down and dragged over 300 feet off the road and violently, physically, and sexually assaulted. She was found 4 hours later around 1:30 a.m., naked, gagged, tied, and covered in mud and blood. She was hurt so bad she went into a coma for 12 days in the hospital. She suffered from severe hypothermia, severe brain damage, severe shock, loss of 75 to 80% of her blood, internal bleeding, skull fractures so bad her eye was hanging from the socket, and her skull was also fractured in 21 places. On the night Tricia was attacked, dozens of teenagers had been in the park, and there were reports of robberies and assaults. 6 teenagers were indicted in relation to Tricia's assault. Charges against the first kid, Stephen Lopez, were dropped after he pled guilty to a different assault. The remaining 5, Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salaam, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise, better known as the Central Park 5, were convicted. Police took custody of Raymond Santana and Kevin Richardson, both 14 years old, at 10:15 p.m. on Central Park West and 102nd Street. Stephen Lopez, 15, was also arrested and interrogated. Antron McCrary and Yusef Salaam, both 15 years old, were brought in for questioning later that day, April 20th. They had been identified by other teens as the aggressors and were there when people were attacked in the park. Corey Wise went with Yusef Salaam for questioning because they were friends, but was questioned himself. 4 of the 6 suspects, Salaam, Wise, Richardson, and Lopez, lived at the Schomburg Plaza, a mixed-income housing complex at the northeast corner of Central Park. The other 2 lived farther north from there. Analysis shown that none of the 6 suspects' DNA matched either of the 2 samples collected from the crime scene, but the police reported the results as inconclusive. The videotape confession started on April 21st after the detectives finished unrecorded interrogations that lasted long as 7 hours. Santana, McCray, and Richardson made video statements in the presence of their parents. Wise made several statements. Defendants Antron McCrary, Yusef Salaam, and Raymond Santana were tried. Judge Thomas B. Galligan sentenced each to the max time allowed for juveniles, 5 to 10 years each. The second trial of Kevin Richardson and Corey Wise began October 22, 1990, and lasted about 2 months. Richardson was the only one convicted of attempted murder of the female jogger, in addition to sodomy and assault of her, and robbery and riot in the attack on the male jogger, John Laughlin. He was sentenced to 5 to 10 years. Corey Wise was 16 at the time of the crime. He was acquitted of rape and attempted murder and was convicted of sexual abuse, assault, and riot and attack of John Laughlin. He was tried as an adult because of his age and the nature of the felony charge. He received 5 to 15 years in prison. In 2001, Matthias Reyes met Corey Wise while they were being held at the Auburn Correctional Facility in upstate New York. Reyes told his CO that he had assaulted Melee, the female jogger. He was 17 years old at the time and said that he did it alone. After filing motions to have their convictions overturned based on new evidence, the 5 defendants' convictions were finally vacated by New York Supreme Court Justice Charles J. Tejada on December 19, 2002. This enabled them to be took off of the sex offender registry. In 2003, all 5 sued the city for $52 million, and by 2014, the city settled on $40 million. The city never admitted any wrongdoing.